So welcome to the node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting for July 12th, 2023. We'll follow our standard approach of going through the issues that were tagged for the agenda. That was issue number 1413 in the TSC repo. Before we get started, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? I guess I'll just add the regular one of the Collaborator Summit is scheduled alongside of OpenJS World in September in Europe. So it's a good time for people to start proposing sessions and for us to start working on what that's going to look like. But I think that's about all I have. The next section is CPC and board meeting updates. I know, Rich, you had to leave early, so you asked me to listen in for anything that people might be interested in. Nothing comes to the top of my mind in terms of things to highlight, other than we did have discussion on one of the issues that are tagged for the agenda later on, but it's probably good to just wait till then. So I'll wait till we get into that. And yeah, we don't have Mateo, so no board meeting update. I do believe it's this upcoming, like not this Friday, but the next one. So if there's anything you do want to get to the board, talk to Mateo between now and then. So moving on to the issues tagged for the agenda. The first one is add BMEC to HackerOne. This is 1409.
I'm the one who tagged it. I did it for visibility, so you can go ahead and close it because we added them already.
Okay.
I don't know if he accepted the invitation, but I'll follow up on that right now.
Okay, that sounds good.
So
do you want to go ahead and close that, or?
Yep, done, closed.
Perfect. Okay. The next one is remaining OSSF funding 1384. So we did have a question to the foundation staff in terms of what kind of how we would get money to people that we would identify to do that work. They did say they've got a fairly lightweight process for handling like individual contractors. And they seemed happy to be able to manage that for us. So I think, Raphael, that was one of the questions that we were waiting on before kind of moving forward, is how do we get money to people? That seems resolved, and that the foundation will handle that for us. Robin said she'd chime in on the issue to comment on that. The previous comment was maybe that they transferred into the LFX account, but in the CPC meeting, it was like, yeah, no, we can handle the contractors for you.
They can't or can?
They can. Yeah, they will.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know. It sounded like they have the person, even an individual, could become, a vendor. Fairly lightweight process is what was explained. So
what would be the next step then?
I think the next step then is to put together like a statement of work, which is like, here's the work that we want to get done. So that people could give us yes, I'm interested in doing that work, and here's my I guess we need to figure out like what information do we want? Like, is it what's the rate, daily rate, or is it like a fixed price or whatever? We need to figure out and capture the information, which would be enough to go out and say, hey, who's interested in doing this work?
Okay, that's great. I'll try to come up with some ideas that we can discuss either in the security working group and mentioning the TSC as well.
Okay. I'm just going to take a quick note. Steps in finding. I assume we can maybe take this off of the agenda until that's complete.
Yep.
Okay, so let me just go and do that, because I always forget otherwise. And then you can always add it back in if we need the TSC input, but okay, so that's good. The next one is leader of the example initiative, and I think I'd volunteered last week to just make that happen if we didn't have any objections. I don't think there have been any, so I will just do that if we have extra time after the meeting. So nothing to discuss this week unless anybody has any comments. Okay, well, that takes us to the end of the things that were tagged for the agenda. I see, Mateo, you've joined. Anything on the board update front that we should mention?
Sorry, I lost the Zoom window. So on the board front, there is nothing right now in the sense of we're waiting for the next board meeting. I signaled all the things that were supposed to happen. Next board meeting is next week, next Friday, not this Friday, Friday of the week after next. So after this one, so not the 14th, it's on the 21st. Right now, there is nothing. It's, there was I mentioned that there was a little bit for the budgeting, but that's everything is intense. So yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so let's flip over to strategic initiatives. I'm just gonna go over to there.
Actually, before we do that, Claudio did ask that we oh no, he didn't add TS. I'm sorry. I thought he asked that the enable GitHub code spaces issue be surfaced at the meeting, but I'm wrong. It just, never mind. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
Okay. So yes, we'll go to the strategic initiatives. Sorry, I am finding that. Okay.
I did say that I would mention that issue for awareness purposes, so now I've mentioned it, but it's issue 808 in the admin repo about enabling GitHub code spaces. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so Antoine, anything to update on the core promises APIs strategic initiative?
No, nothing this week.
Okay. Joy, anything on the startup snapshot front?
We're trying to make the snapshot reproducible again. So hopefully that will help making the binaries reproducible on the platforms, maybe at least Linux.
That sounds good. I just, since you mentioned it there, is that with an extra command line option, or is that just going to be like in the default configuration?
Default.
Default. Okay, great. Okay, Darshan, anything on the single executable applications?
No updates.
Okay. Let's see. Shenzong on the Shadow Realm.
Sorry, nothing this week.
Okay. Next 10, I don't have anything of note to update either. And I'm just looking through who all we have here. I don't think I've missed anybody, but if I have, please let me know. Okay, well, if not, then that takes us to the end of the agenda. Is there anything else that we should chat about or discuss before we close out for this week?
I wouldn't mind having just 60 seconds for a private session.
Okay. Let me close out the stream. So thanks everybody who's been watching on the stream. And everybody's taking the time to make the meeting. We will see everybody in GitHub and next time.